Prester John from India. Every time they say India, just like Lost Tribes and Promised Lands by Ronald Sanders, you gotta be like, which one, boss? Because that's a generic term, meaning a region of dark-skinned people. But this is Indian superior. We're just talking about Indios, like in Hawaii, the Most High's people, the superior Naga. Ikate, though. Ikate. Kateo. Let's go. I love the fact that we just barely flopped on a brand new book, man, after all these years. And even if it just has a chapter about Preston, it's interesting to get all these perspectives, man. Right in our face bump for us to have some discernment and get the babies out the bathwater, surfed away. You know how we do. We are experts by now at bobbing and weaving and dodging the hijack. Staying on our spirals, staying spiraled up around here, man, keeping the cold. Having a hard bone to build our noggins up, not break our noggins down, man. That's a treacherous noggin. So we gotta stay clear, that frequency. And we know it's hard, It's hard, what I'm saying, to use discernment with expertise level. Because at some point you're going to trust somebody that don't need to be trusted. At some point you're going to have to really trust yourself, man. And trust Hawaii, that's rocking within you to continue to seek and stay on this investigation. And if you're still here, you're still on this wave, man, I applaud you. I salute you, my nigga, because you done a lot of bombing and weaving to still be in this classroom, man. And we do it for our real ones, man. We do it for you, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? So, salute to you. And this is what we do it for. You know what I mean? Let's go. Allah, the great Emperor Prester John from India. Which one? This meeting was recorded by German chronicler Otto. So this ain't no play. Prester John from India is not mythology, but they're going to later say, oh, it's just a figment of your imagination and it must be this Mongol person. They're going to go to the Mongols immediately. But the Mongol means great one. The Mongol means great one. Apparently, Emperor Prester John was on his way to support the Crusaders, but was unable to cross the Tigris. Sounds like one of them rivers of paradise, you know what I'm saying? Would the Tigris have anything to do with the Euphrates? And why would these hijacks think Prester John's coming to save them? Maybe the Prester was just playing his hand, getting them hijacks all jumpy for no reason. All right, let's go. Jacob Kirkasini. So, let's get it. Nothing is known about Kirkasini's personal life. They don't know about Jacob, his personal life, just like JC. Let's get it from here. Since he was a firm believer in his use of reason and intelligence, theology, and jurisprudence, his views in this field are characterized by common sense and moderation. Although he did not hesitate to ally himself with the partisans of such rigoristic laws as the canary theory of forbidden marriages. So he had to use discernment on what he's going to ally himself with. Al-Kirkasani's principal work is divided into two parts, of which the first, entitled Kitab al-Anwar wa al-Maraqib, Books of Life and Watchtowers, is a systematic code of Sharia law. So Jacob Kirkasini also wrote the code. All these Nagas wrote the code, you know what I'm saying, just to clarify it to those that, were around them or, They always needed a pure water code. You know what I mean? And they did their best to bring that out. Yeah, whether it was Jacob Kirkasini or Daniel Al-Kumis, he wrote the code. Moses Mabnides wrote the code. Anab and David wrote the code. You know the president had a code. All the kings, all the khans had to have their code. Like, this is what, let there be no um, misunderstanding. You know what I'm saying? This is what you think about this. It's not like, oh, okay, this is what the prophet thinks. Like, what do you think about what the prophet thinks? And, you know, they wanted that to be verified and stamped before, you know, he was somebody that they rock with. So the Karian law, the systematic code, they call the Book of Lights and Watchtowers. You might have to dig on that. He also wrote the warfare.our Hadaik, the Book of Gardens and Parks. Okay. And a commentary on the non-legal parts of the Torah, prefaced by the detailed discourse of the methods of biblical exegesis. The Book of Lights is divided into 13 discourses. 1. History of the Jewish sects or the Hebrew tribes. 2. On the validity of the application of rational investigation, theology, and jurisprudence. 3. Refutation of the doctrines of the various sects, including Christianity and Islam. So he's refuting those doctrines. Man, they ain't on no Christianity. Why do you call them Christian? Treatise on the methods of interpretation of the law. Number 4. Number 5, on circumcision and the Sabbath, the Shabbat. 6, on the commandments rather than the Sabbath, including a detailed treatise on the liturgy or on the commandments other than the Shabbat. So they got one on circumcision and direct Shabbat. Then they got one on all the commandments other than the Shabbat. Okay. 7 on new moons, 8 on the feast of weeks, 9 on the remaining holy days, 10 on cleanliness and uncleanness, 11 on incest, 12 on dietary law, right? And 13 on inheritance. Right? This is how he broke down. I think that's pretty smooth right there. You know, a con gotta, you know, figure out the formula, right? So the Book of Lights, that was his formula in 13 discourses to break down the code, the law, the interpretation of the law, the Shabbat, new moons, feast weeks, holy days, you know what I'm saying? Dietary inheritance. Deral Kirkasini makes constant reference to views of other Karaite jurists, particularly Anan and Benjamin B. Moses, Nahawindi, as well as those of the rabbis, right? So Anan and Anan ben David, Anan ben David. So, so we got a little, you know, just getting little breathers, you know, a little breath on these, you know, patriarchs as seeing where the duplications are, and it could be something, it could be nothing. You know, that could be the Jacob, it could be a descendant of Jacob, it could be, you know, the patriarchal, you know, flow, or it could be a what they call a reflection or reproduction. You know what I mean? A duplication, but no, but nobody is, you know, bringing us any type of information on this. They are not teaching us about this. We're in the Press the Job investigation, number 109. You know how far we go, had to travel to have these type of conversations. And I love going back to the drop of some information because We could be reading something in Preston John number 36 and have a dragonfly perspective in Preston John number 96 on the same topic. So it's all a spiral, right? You spiraling up or you spiraling down. A nine, right? So Mr. Jacob Kirkasini makes constant references to the views of other Cariot jurists. And the Cariots, even to this day, the Cariot, the Ishes, the Jewish, right? That's what they say. Jewish. I mean, this is just too much issues for me, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of issues, and it's a lot of isms. But what you do know that even the issues and the isms defend the Hebrew Bible or the Tanakh, you know what I'm saying, as the sole authentic religious doctrine, or that's where the sources are going to be found, not in the translations, but what they're spinning and what there's a foundational legend, a foundational root, a truth, a baby in the bathwater, like we say. They're not trying to switch it out, because if the Bible was on some BS, they wouldn't be trying to curve out of it. You wouldn't be having to go to theology school to get the Christianized doctrine and then the whole New Testament added to it. They wouldn't be having to add to it.